to heat up your frozen dinners, grab your TV tray, and settle in for another episode of the Plus Platoon, your podcast for all things Disney Plus, brought to you by Disney Plus fans. Watch along with us every week as we cover all the new, the old, the good, and the bad on Disney Plus. So put down that remote, don't touch that dial, and welcome your fabulous Plus Platoon host.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Plus Platoon podcast. My name is Sam. I'm one of the members of the Plus Platoon. We're a Disney Plus fan podcast that gives honest, spoiler-filled reviews of movies and shows on Disney Plus. We look at new releases, coming attractions, and we'll even go back into the vault to revisit some of our Disney favorites. But I am simply just a member of the Platoon, and a platoon would not be the same without multiple members. So I'm going to introduce you to the rest of this platoon. Let me first welcome my friend, Kate. Kate, welcome to the show.
Oh, hello. I had to make sure that I was unmuted because this is a fancy space machine that I'm used to. This is super fancy.
You do have
Sam.
a new setup there.
I sure do. And it's really good to see you and all of the rest of the platooners because I wasn't here last week, but I'm back.
Yes. Good to see you as well. It's been a couple of weeks for me, but I'm happy to be back and leading the show tonight. Let's welcome our next friend, Miss Rebecca. Thank you for coming, Rebecca. Welcome.
Oh, hi. Guys, there's been too much testosterone on here. And I have been here for the past 2 weeks without my girls, and I am so glad that you guys are both back for this week.
We are so happy to be back as well. Let's bring a little testosterone on, though. Let's balance out this feminine energy with Mr. Peter.
Thanks,
Peter, come on.
Just a little bit of testosterone, yeah.
How's it going today, Pete?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be representing the boys.
Yes. Well, as our audience can see, Derek is not with us tonight. He is at the World, and so he is having a grand old time down there in Florida, and unfortunately can't join us tonight. I like Ed's comment here: a platoon without the whole team is just a plat.
It's
Ed and I are always like, Ed, you and I are like this. Always.
Just a bunch of peepees.
Just a bunch of peepees. So one thing I forgot to mention at the top of the show is for our audience members, make sure you're subscribed to our show on YouTube or liking us on Facebook so you will not ever miss a moment of the platoon. So tonight, you guys, before we start talking about our main topics of the show, I think we need a little Disney news. What do you guys think? All right, Kate, give it to us.
Oh, get excited, everybody. Listen up. First of all, thank you for being a friend. Golden Girls, all episodes, is coming to Disney Plus on July 2nd. Who doesn't want more of Blanche and Dorothy in their lives? I know I do. We've got Monsters at Work series, which premieres on July 7th, plus Black Widow releases on July 9th. And just announced today, hot off the presses, we have the Simpsons Marvel-themed short, The Good, the Bart, and the Loki, which will premiere on Disney Plus on July 7th. And just a reminder that beginning July 7th, most TV shows will premiere on Wednesdays, yet movies are still on Fridays. So that's all I got for Disney news. Back to you, Sam.
Well, awesome. That sounds fun. I'm excited. Thank you for being a friend as well, Kate. I mean, who isn't excited to see Sophia and Blanche, the whole family, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Rebecca has something to add.
No, just that I am not excited.
You're not being a friend.
I didn't even get that. It's way over my
Oh, sis, you're missing out. It's so good.
She's a little too young for that one, Kate.
That's true. That's fair.
All right. Well, Brian's asking if it's all Marvel tonight because there's no Derek. But the answer to your question, Brian, is nope. We will be talking Loki later in the show. But first, we're going to talk about the new show that just released last week. Another episode, I think, dropped today, but we're talking about episodes 1 and 2 of the Mysterious Benedict Society that dropped on Disney Plus last week. It's a new show. I will call it a kids show, but for the whole family. So let's start with the first question tonight, and that is, does it pass the test? So we'll start with Rebecca, and maybe Rebecca can tell our audience a little bit about the show and answer that question.
Well, I have to be completely honest. I ran into a busy week and was not able to watch the second episode. I know.
That's okay.
And it was terrible of me because I really, really enjoyed the show. I am one for mental puzzles and logic and problem solving and riddles. And that, to me, just by watching the first episode, really drew me in. So there are 3 main character children, and I'm totally blanking on their names. If anyone can help me with those.
Rainy, Stinky, and Kate. Kate Weather, Sticky. That's right, Sticky. Rainy, Sticky, Rainy. and Kate Weatherall.
Yep, correct. Okay, so those 3 kids basically are trying to get to this mysterious, very prestigious university, I would say, this school that they're trying to get into, and they all read this ad in the paper. I'm assuming at least Rainy's story is he read this ad in the paper to kind of pass this test to be able to get into this prestigious school, college, university, whatever it is. Come to find out that these tests are not necessarily knowledge-based tests, but more survival skill, logic-based, riddle-solving tests. And they basically choose these 3 kids based on their different ways of solving these problems. I was very intrigued through the whole thing because I tried to solve the test before the kids did to see what I would do. Me and Willie were actually going back and forth like, oh, I would have done that. That's my initial thought. And, and it was really fun to kind of sit there and go through these puzzles together. I definitely think that it passes the test for me. I am excited to watch the second episode. I'm not sure what happens after they found out that, this whole emergency thing is going down. I still don't know the answer to that one. So you guys probably do, but from the first episode and that introduction, I was definitely hooked on it, but I'm excited to see where it goes. Pete, what do you think?
So I think I'm going to be the Derek on this one. I saw both episodes, so I apologize, Rebecca, if I'm throwing some spoilers out from the second episode, but
don't worry.
I also really liked the first episode. I liked the puzzles. I liked the whole story of, how they had to pass these tests, and as you say, how they each did it differently. And then I got to the second episode and we watched them right in a row, and maybe that hurt it. But the second episode I kind of disliked. So I'm up in the air on whether this one passes the test, because I really liked the first episode. And then the second episode, which kind of sets up how their first, I guess, assignment or whatever you would call it. They have to go to this school on an island and try to figure out who's creating the emergency. And number one, they added a 4th girl, Constance, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And she
Constance
is obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
She's obnoxious. And like, they talk about, oh, she, there's something she's good at that she's going to really be important, but you don't know what that is. And so instead you just, myself, it's like, I hated her. So, and that was probably intentional, but, mm-hmm. It didn't help that, like, okay, wow, you got these 3 really cool characters, and then they added a 4th one, and I can't stand that person. So, and then just like, I don't know, the whole, the way the plot isn't being explained. I don't know. I'm still up in the air on it. If the coming episodes are more like the first episode, I really want to enjoy it, because I said I really enjoyed the first episode, but the second one didn't do it for me. So I'm on the fence, let's say. on this, on whether it passed the test. It's still to be graded. What about you, Sam?
So first, I'm going to hold up the book because I am a big fan of the series, The Mysterious Benedict Society. This is the first book. There are 3 other narrative books and then one book that is really a book of puzzles. So I think Rebecca hit the nail on the head about sort of what this is about and what you're going to see. It is the story of 4 kids, but the 3 kids are really the 3 main characters. Constance is she's supposed to be annoying. You're supposed to not like her, Constance Contraire. So that's okay that you don't like her right now, Pete. I'm not going to give spoilers for further on in the story. I don't know how closely it will stick to the book, except I love at the end of episode 2. Sorry, Rebecca, close your ears, maybe earmuffs a little bit there. I loved seeing Tony Hale as Mr. Curtin Tony Hale is also Mr. Benedict, right? So real fun. You'll find out more about that. I won't spoil exactly what that is, but I thought it was a great first 2 episodes. I agree. Episode 1 was maybe a little bit more interesting because you're seeing the tests, and I think we'll see more puzzles and adventure and riddles and things like that in some other episodes, but they really need to set up the whole story about the emergency and how people are being basically fed anxiety and despair through subliminal messaging through their televisions. And so I think that it's a really cool concept. It's a great book series. I read it. I have a 7-year-old, but I will tell you, I read this series, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 years ago. So not having anything to do with my kid, even though it is a kid's book. As you see, it's kind of the thickness of maybe one of the early Harry Potters. It is not, it is chapter book, but it's certainly appropriate for maybe middle or older elementary age. Yeah, and up. It's obviously great for adults. But I'm enjoying it. Kate, tell us what you think, girl.
Oh, okay. I loved this show. I was upset that there were only 2 episodes for me to watch. If I could put it into, if you don't know anything about it, if you took the Umbrella Academy and Lemony Snicket and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and they merged them together and they had a beautiful love child, it would be this show. Because you're Pete, you totally nailed it. That, like, to be honest, when they first showed a girl named Kate, I was like, yo, yes, a main character named Kate. And then she opened her mouth and started speaking, and I was like, oh God, she's kind of the worst. Like, no, she actually drove me more crazy than Constance. Yeah. Constance. I think that Constance is going to have a backstory. Like, the part where Rebecca, sorry, this is going to be a spoiler. The part where Mr. Benedict is like, you're here to talk about Constance. The team doesn't like her. Have you thought about why? Have you thought about why she is the way she is? I feel like she's going to have a backstory. And listen, y'all, I could talk about this show for so long because it's just the brilliance of it. And again, I know I talk like, oh, I love documentaries and I love musicals. I also love weird shows where kids go to an academy and there's like magical things that happen. Rebecca, you made a really good point in the first episode about the tests, because there's these tests, right? And as soon as the girl sister dropped her pencil, and immediately I'm like, yo, this is a test though. This is a test. And then I'm going to cheat. No, that's the test. So brilliant. Absolute genius. God, I love this show. I cannot wait. And actually, I can't wait to read the books, but I don't know if I should wait to read the books or if I should read the books before I watch the show or try to do them simultaneously. I am curious. Go ahead, Pete.
I would say, since we've started it, I would not read the book, because the books are always different, right? In some ways.
Yeah.
And so you might, it could affect how much you like the show. And we already have Sam here telling us
That's a good
with
point.
that point of view. So that would be
Yeah,
my pick.
I think Pete's right. Maybe after season 1 finishes, then read the first book and then maybe binge the whole rest of the series before season 2 comes out.
Maybe I'll ask for that book for Christmas.
Yeah,
and then
there you
read
go.
it at Christmas. So yeah, overall, absolutely, it passed the test. It is the perfect blend of comedy and also like heartbreaking realism
Mm-hmm.
with these kids who, for those of you who haven't seen it, some of them are orphans, and one kid is like, I'm not an orphan. My parents, I thought, loved me, but then they found out I was super smart, and then used that, like, just it takes you on this ride of, oh my gosh, this is really funny. That was a great one-liner. To, can I just hug you, like, Sticky? Can I just like hug you right now? So I just brilliant. All the way around, brilliant, genius.
Yeah, I think based on what you guys have said, I do now remember Constance. If I'm correct, wasn't she the one who like peeked her head out at the very beginning?
Yeah.
So we do know a little bit about her. That she was introduced before we knew she would be a main character. But I do remember her. I didn't find her like annoying, but I was.
We'll wait.
I was just trying to figure out what purpose, like, she felt so different than the rest of the 3. I'm trying to figure out where she kind of fits in that dynamic. And then as far as, the kids all being or semi orphans, isn't the one thing that Rainey said to him, like, well, the only reason we're all together is because we're all alone. And
they're actually they're actually all
heart.
orphans, because even Sticky, that's his aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But they had custody of him.
And you know what? They even threw me for a loop, because some of the characters, they like I think her name was Krista. One of the girl who was like, the answer is no, I'm not going to do it. Because like, I really thought she was going to be a main character because of how they presented her. And then they were like, nah, bye. And another kid,
Dewey.
Brian, Dewey,
Brian,
Brian, Dewey, same. Ed, I would like to know your thoughts on this show, because you and I are like the same. So Ed, I would like to know your thoughts, but yeah, that's great.
So before we get to our next question, we have a couple of comments here. Ryan says, I've been debating about watching it. I didn't know if I was going to like it based on the trailer. So Ryan, I think our recommendation is watch it. And then we have Brian, from my other half from the DCL duo, saying, I love Constance. And that doesn't surprise me, because Brian always loves those contrary characters like that. So our next question is, what are your expectations of the series? What are you hoping for or predicting in this series? And Pete, let's start with you on this question.
So for me, it's like the puzzle aspect of it, or the problem solving aspect of it, because that's what I thought was really great about that first show, was how the kids were all given these tests, and they all solved them in different ways, but solved them successfully. And the same thing with, like, they had to go through the maze, and each one of them did it in their own way. And I want to see also Constance become part of the team, because I really liked the 3 as a team, and then they throw Constance in there. And again, I know that's intentional, that she's supposed to be annoying. That's the character they put in there, but she's so annoying, and I don't know. I'm hoping they're going to do something to make me like the character better. The other aspect of it that I didn't like and would like to hopefully see change is I'm getting a little bit of Dumbledore from Benedict, in that he's like only allowing them to know certain pieces of information. It feels like that's one thing that I love. I love the Harry Potter books and the movies, but like, after 6 books, it was like, Dumbledore, just tell Harry what's going on, because like you keep getting him in, he's getting in way more danger because you won't share things. And I kind of feel like that same thing from Benedict, that he's maybe not sharing everything with them, and like that annoys me now, and that's Harry Potter's fault.
Well, I think those are good points, Pete. I think what I would say is I'm not sure that Benedict knows as much as Dumbledore did know. So I think there might be a little bit of a difference there, but I appreciate that comment because that's something I love Harry Potter, and that's something that bothers me about the series a lot as well. The one thing I would like to see, and I'm kind of expecting to see, is this theme of empathy come throughout the season. I thought that, the first set of tests, at least with the three main characters, obviously not with Constance because we didn't actually see, well, we saw sort of a recap of her tests at the end, but the theme with all three of the main characters was the way that they passed their tests was not just their ingenuity and their intelligence and their creativity, but also their empathy, right? When they saw a person who who lost their pencil before the test, they figured out a way to help that person, even though it risked their own ability to take the test, and that they, might be late for the test. Or with Rainey, he broke his pencil in half, counting on the fact that there would be a pencil sharpener. But what if there wasn't a pencil sharpener, right? Then he would have been the screwed one, and the other girl who had his point of the pencil would have been able. So I love that theme of empathy. I'm really hoping, and I believe it will carry through. And, we're seeing a lack of empathy in the folks who are working at the school and who are at the school at the, I think it's called the Live Institute. And so we'll see how our main characters have empathy and the contrast with the folks at the Live Institute. Kate, what are your expectations?
Okay, so first of all, I forgot to say earlier that I got really sad at myself because as I was watching the pencil thing happen, I was like, I don't know what I feel like I would want to just give her my pencil. Like I wouldn't be able to go in. But when he said, I'll break it, I was like, yo, that's genius. And every time that they answer a question, every time I'm like, that's so brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? So I had a lot of moments like that. I want to know Constance's backstory. Ooh, say that 7 times fast. I want to know her backstory. I think that there is going to be a deeper, because of how they have shown how deep they've gone with the other characters. I want to know her backstory. I am curious as to if the headmaster is an identical twin. That's a theory I had, that it's an identical twin, like an evil twin. And I'm curious if Rebecca will agree with me on this. The emergency and how I think it was the teacher. Oh, I can't remember who said it in the show, but they said all they're feeding you is fear and anxiety. I can't remember the exact words. Mm-hmm. And I had a moment where I was like, yo, but that's like real life though. like I don't really watch the news because like that's like real life. So I had that moment, especially just now when you said, Sam, when you were like, there's subliminally, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, we're not going to go there, but just having that, like, it's all bad news. I was like, well, here we are. I am curious about the messengers. I think that's going to be important. I think the messengers, I feel like while that is a very prestigious award to be given, like, are they actually gonna like be sacrificing these kids to the emergency? Like, is there something darker happening here? So I'm curious about the messengers. Yeah. And one of my favorite parts of the show was when Constance was just sitting eating a sandwich when she was supposed to be figuring out the maze. One of my favorite parts, because as annoying as she is and as polar opposite of me as she is, when she was just chilling eating a sandwich, I was like, well, there it is.
She's all of us when we're eating that sandwich.
She is. So that's what I got. What about you, Rebecca?
So I'm curious if anybody knows what time period this is supposed to be set in.
I think it's supposed to be like a modern time period, but with obviously.
I don't know. I always look
'Cause-
at the vehicles, and the vehicles are clearly 50s
Yeah.
and 60s.
I was thinking that
Um,
plus the costumes and
Yeah.
stuff. I didn't
Yeah,
know
so-
because that would kind of
but-
change based on what Kate was saying. That would kind of change how I feel about this whole emergency thing. While it is a very modern-ish problem that's going on, if it was set to a specific time era, I think I would kind of feel different about like where that's coming from, because obviously the governmental issues that we're facing right now are still present than where they were in the 50s, but they're not portrayed the same way. And so that is there. The other expectations that I have, and I'm hoping, like I was really excited to watch the second episode, and now I'm really not, to find out that it's not more like logic puzzles and riddles and tests and stuff. Like I really that's is it?
there is a little bit of that does
Okay.
eventually come, which
There are
gives me
parts
hope
of it.
that they're going to go to more of it. But
Yeah.
at the very end, there's
Yes.
some of that comes back in, and
Mhm.
that's the best part of the second episode in my
Yeah,
opinion,
'cause-
is the last 10 minutes. So
I think
Yeah.
we'll see more of that, but I think they needed to there needed to be a little bit more introduction to this live institute and what's going on there a little bit, and so and to kind of make us wonder. So I agree. I agree with you. I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
I just think there's not as much of that in the second episode as the first.
yeah.
And I totally get that they do need to explain a little bit. I obviously have all these questions after the first one of things that like I don't know what's going on. But I'm so enthralled by logic puzzles in general, like just in my own person and how I am by myself. So just watching it on TV and, and seeing, these little kids, I've been obsessed with like, what are they, prodigies, like child prodigies, and they're just amazing at things without ever practicing and stuff. That's how I feel watching this, is I, had dreams of being a mathematician, and, all I want to do is be able to solve puzzles on the back of my hand. So I hope that there's more of that. That's the only expectations I can have, because I don't really understand anything else.
I was looking at when the book was published, just for time period. I agree. I think the costumes are more reminiscent of like the 50s or 60s, but the book came out in 2007, but there's not really a lot of like talk of computers and stuff like that. So, and they are using pencils and things like that. So I do think it's a little bit of a throwback, but I'm not sure how far back or if they're just doing that for the show.
Yeah, I think they're intentionally leaving it vague to kind of set it in this non-time period. So the one thing I did want to say is I want to see more Kristen Schaal, because everything can use more Kristen Schaal. And the scene in episode, I'm going to again spoil it for Rebecca. There's a scene in episode 2 when they're in the woods and she like pulls out an axe, and they're doing this whole scene with Mr. Benedict and one of the other characters. And in the background, Kristen Schall's character is just wailing away at the tree branches. I could not pay attention to the scene because I was just watching her.
She's hilarious. And I love her. In Gravity Falls is one of my favorite Disney shows, which is a cartoon show, but she's the voice of Mabel, and she's hilarious. I mean, that character is hilarious, but her voice is just makes that character.
My daughter became interested in, because we were watching the show, and she became interested in the show. She said, "Is that Mabel?" So, that is a great show also.
It's so funny. That's exactly what my husband Brian, when we were watching, he's like, "How do I recognize that voice?" And then he like looked it up on his phone or something. He's like, "It's Mabel." He was so excited. We've got a couple more comments. Gina says, "I agree. The emergency is real life." She's agreeing with you, Kate, about the, this feelings of anxiety kind of flooding into our lives sometimes. And then Brian from DCL Duo is saying, Constance adds an emotional strength to the group that the others feel that others lack. So I think this goes to Kate's other point, which is, sort of creating more depth in the characters. We did get a lot from the other 3 characters. There's got to be more of a backstory here.
Yeah, I think Constance really has the confidence and, you know, just the self-worth that a lot of these other kids feel that they don't have. And that's why they set up this emotional connection between Rainey and his therapist, social worker. I'm not sure what she was called. But, you know, she kind of had to convince him that he was worth it, and he did have the strength and the confidence to go in and do the test. So I think that she brings that element as well.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, I hope that we'll maybe revisit this series. We're not scheduled to talk about this next week, but hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll revisit and talk more about the episodes as they come out. See, Kate's giving me the thumbs up. I think this is a series. It sounds like we're all, I know Pete's not necessarily loving it yet, but willing to continue watching and see where it goes.
Yeah, I would watch it again, because I also felt maybe because I watched both episodes back to back, it might have worked better. I mean, some shows for me work better as not being binged, and others do work in that way. And this one is going to be better to just take in smaller chunks. I don't know.
I will be curious to know Derek's thoughts.
Yeah. We'll have to check in with him on that.
Oh, come on. Derek didn't like it, I'm sure.
I don't think he actually watched it yet. But maybe he'll catch up and watch it. So let's move on to the Marvel show of the day, which is Loki. And we're talking episodes 2 and 3 tonight. Since the last episode we chatted about was episode 1. I see Pete's very excited to talk about this. But so our first question is it worth your time? We like to be cheeky here on the Plus Platoon. Oh no, Kate, we're going to start with you. And Ryan saying Loki is what he's here for. I think everyone is here for Loki, Ryan. So except maybe Kate. All right, well, Kate, give it to us your honest opinion. Is it worth your time?
Everybody. So Ryan, I hope you stay my friend after this. But you guys, listen. All right. First of all, if y'all have been following in the Kate watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe in order, I have currently finished Captain Marvel. I am now on to Iron Man, but I did watch Loki because of Plus Platoon. I loved the first episode. I am struggling through the second and third, but here's why. The whole time travel and somebody else being Loki, but then this person not being Loki, and maybe they're Loki, but we don't really know, is a struggle for me. I found myself turning to my boyfriend every other sentence and being like, I don't understand. Like, what is a variant? And I was trying so hard to follow along and to be a good Marvel fan and know everything. But I didn't struggle with this in WandaVision. I didn't struggle with this in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I am just having a tough time keeping it all straight in my head. Like, I don't know if it's the time travel. It's just not holding my attention as much as I would like. Oh, so I'm going to pass it off now before I get like murdered by all of, oh my God, now I can see all your I want to like it. It's more that I just get confused, and I don't like it when shows make me really confused. So, Rebecca, I hope you still love me after this.
Uh-oh.
It was literally not letting me unmute. It won't let me go off on Kate. No. The good thing about life is that you are allowed to have different opinions. And as wrong as they can be, they're still your own. So I am absolutely obsessed with this show because of this most previous episode, not the one that aired tonight, but last week, has literally enhanced my adoration and affection for Tom Hiddleston. I think he is just extraordinary. For the exact reasons that Kate doesn't like this show are the ones that I do like it. I think this whole time travel and the variants and, everyone working for the TVA is actually a variant, and, they were pulled from different times to work here and stuff is such an existential thought. the same reason that I love the Benedict Society, these puzzles and these riddles and these deep existential problems and, just these major psychological things. It's literally what I'm studying in college, and I'm obsessed. I love that it, quite frankly, is easy for me to follow, that it all makes sense. And I'm sitting there like, oh, I wish I had thought of that. Like, even though this is a completely made up show about the god of mischief and his glorious purpose and all this stuff, like it to me is just something that I wish I was a part of. I am jealous of everyone working on the show, all of the cast. It's incredible. I really cannot wait to see tonight's episode. My sister actually texted me at the beginning of this and said, oh my gosh, Loki. And I was like, I have not watched it. Do not say a word. And she's like, my mouth literally dropped when whatever happened. So I am just beyond eager to finally figure out how they're going to get off the planet if the thing exploded and it's crashing on top of them and everyone dies and all of this. I'm also thinking this is going to be something Simpsons-y. If in 2066, something called whatever it is crashes in the world, are they going to be, who is behind, And so I'm obviously, I know it's not Kate, but like if that stuff does happen, like it'd be the same kind of thing. But it's so good. I think
what Rebecca means by that is The Simpsons always predicts the future. And so they predicted Donald Trump being president. Mm-hmm. And so that's what Rebecca's talking
Did they
about.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
kidding. I didn't know that.
They had a joke back in the 90s about it.
I'm not a Simpsons fan, though. I was always more Family Guy than I was Simpsons. So,
well, that's what I'm saying is there's actually a famous like meme that's out there of Trump on an escalator, which is an exact screenshot of a Simpsons episode, and I think that one is the one that kind of got me there. But I'm excited.
So
Pete, sorry.
It's okay. That's okay. I'm totally with you, Rebecca, and Kate's wrong on this one. I thought both these episodes were great. I saw a lot on the internet saying, oh, the third one wasn't as good. It was kind of a filler episode. Nothing. I thought it was fantastic giving those two characters, the Sylvie, we'll call her Sylvie, and Loki time together. Loki kind of played the buffoon throughout the episode, and that's not Loki, right? He's a lot of things, but he's not an idiot, and he played the idiot a lot in that episode. And I do not trust anything he's doing, and I love it. As far as Kate goes, the one thing I would say is, because like my wife was kind of like that, going, well, so where is this other? How does that work? That there's another Loki and everything like that. And I said, don't worry about it. She's a Loki. He's a Loki. It's just don't worry about it. So that's what I'm going to say to Kate. Don't worry about it. Yeah. just try to enjoy it, and then you can always go back and watch it again and try to figure it out. If it's too confusing, just it's like
when he was like, I'm adopted, and she was like, I know, and I was like, wait, I'm very confused. So he's
a frost giant.
Yeah,
that was from the first Thor movie. Oh, you haven't seen that yet, right?
I'm not there yet.
Yeah. She's too far behind.
Yeah. But I cannot wait for so far we've had 3 Marvel series, halfway through this one, and I'm kind of upset there's only 6 episodes. This is the best at the halfway mark of the 3.
Wow.
I would say WandaVision is my favorite finished one. So we'll get there and see if this one can stick the landing. But of the 3, this is the first one that I want. Right now I want more of.
Oh, this is
up to you, Sam. What do you think?
That's a hard statement to make, because I'll be honest, I loved WandaVision. I loved Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's really hard to compare because they're all so different. I'm not saying that this one isn't great. I think it is great. I love it as well. for all the reasons that Rebecca and Pete just mentioned. I do find the timeline stuff a little confusing, I'll be honest, but I like your explanation, Pete. Just go with it. It's just, they happen to be the same. They're both Loki. Okay. Just go with it. I'm not understanding really how the blowing up the timeline thing works. Like, that doesn't really make sense to me. What, how sending these flares creates these different, I don't know. That part is confusing, but time travel is always confusing. I always say in Harry Potter with the time turner, why didn't they go back in time and just kill Tom Riddle when he was a child so he never became Voldemort? But that's what time travel is about in any TV or movie series. I think it's a great show. My only criticism, and this is something I said actually in episode 1 when we talked about this a few weeks ago, was my thought was Loki, Tom Hiddleston's Loki, was going to be the good guy and the bad guy in the series. So I'm just sad because I'm getting half as much Tom Hiddleston as I thought I was going to get. I thought I was going to get 2 times Tom Hiddleston. I thought he was going to play both Lokis, and instead we have Sylvie as the second variant Loki. So that's my only complaint, because I always want more. Though. She's great. She's fantastic, but I want more Tom Hiddleston. Right? I mean, Rebecca's
He's in every scene. How much more could you have? I don't
care. I could have 2 of him in every scene and I would be perfectly happy. I do actually really like one thing that happened between Sylvie and Loki in the train when they were talking, which was we find out they're both bisexual. I like that. I thought it was, we're in Pride Month right now. Give us the diversity, give us, diversity of opinions, diversity of, different timelines. And now you're giving us diversity in sexuality. I applaud Disney. They keep doing these things to reflect what society looks like. And I love it. I'm here for it, I'll say. The other thing I thought was hilarious was Loki does a Thor move in the bar when he smashes his glass on the floor and is like, bring me another. And that actually happens in, I forget which Thor movie. I think it might be the first or the second Thor movie. So anyway, super fun.
For me, I'm going to kind of tag to what Pete said about how Loki so far halfway through is better than all of the 3 series that have come out. Falcon and Winter Soldier combined with WandaVision is to me what Loki is. So you have the magic, the powers, the mystery of WandaVision, but with the action, the fight scenes, and the crime that is Falcon and Winter Soldier that is classic Marvel. And I think that it just hits every single thing right on the head. Like I don't have a single criticism about this show. And I literally have t-shirts about of Tom Hiddleston and just Loki and that character. I've been obsessed. I watch Ragnarok for fun. Like I cannot get enough. I wanted to also comment something about what you said, Sam. I think the representation of Loki being bisexual and Sylvie being bisexual is monumental, because you either get all straight characters with one fully gay character or vice versa. But the bisexual community has always, I felt, underrepresented, because it is possible, to do both, but people don't understand that. And I was locked into that scene and I was waiting for it. I was like, just say it. Come on, go out and say it. And it made my heart so happy to have that representation, for people like myself and other people in the community that feel that way. And so I was floored. And that's the only reason not the only reason, but one of the biggest reasons that I love Tom Hiddleston and just everything that he's done so far. So
yeah, love it.
Amazing praise.
We've got some good comments I want to have pull up before we move to our next question, which is, let's start with Ryan's comment. Loki is what I'm here for. Yeah, Ryan, that's what we're here for too. And Willie says, finally, let's go snooze Best Society over Loki time. Well, we'll agree to disagree with that, because We loved Mysterious Benedict. Willie says TVA needs to come take this variant to the moon or something. Kate. She doesn't ever sign,
got
and
her
she's on
sign.
mute. And you're on mute, Kate.
Listen, he's on the moon for sure. I don't have my sign with me tonight, but I'll have it next week.
Ryan is on Team Rebecca. Agree, loving the show. Can we talk about? Oh yeah, Ryan. Can we talk about how amazing the single camera fight scene was and how powerful Loki actually is? Preach, my friend. Ryan says, different timelines, different people, same lives. It all makes sense. Thank you. It sounds exactly like how Pete explained. It's the same person. Just don't worry about it. Just enjoy. They're both Loki. Just enjoy. Okay, that brings us to our next question, which is, where should they go moving forward, Rebecca? Where should this timeline take us? Oh, you're muted.
Muted.
Any timeline where Loki stays alive. Anything where I don't have to completely say goodbye to Tom Hiddleston and this character and what he has created it to be. I just want more. I could watch this. I am truthfully extremely sad that it is only 6 episodes, and I want to see it continue. I would love to just watch. I'll watch Tom Hiddleston just sit and stare at the camera. I dressed up as Loki in his suit in the TVA variant costume. I really don't care. Action wise and story plot line wise, I would like to see not a downfall of the time variant authorities, and they have a name, the 3, those people. Are they just the authorities? I don't know.
Timekeepers.
The timekeepers. Yes, you're right. So I not the downfall, but isn't the one in the middle, the main one, is a villain for a future movie, if I'm not mistaken. And so I know that I'm hoping that we'll see that character come forth in this episode or in this series as well. And so I not the downfall of the timekeepers, but just something needs to happen monumentally, that they need to step out from their hiding or wherever they're, being secretive and stuff to fully dive into those characters too. So anywhere with that, and I'm okay with it as long as Tom Hiddleston's on screen.
Making peanut butter sandwiches.
Yep. Exactly.
Reading the stock market, stock exchange.
Yeah. Whatever it is. Pete, what do you think?
I agree with you there. I want an ending to this series that has Loki still around for season 2. And when I say Loki, I want Tom Hiddleston, not some other Loki. I would completely sign up for that. I'm expecting, I guess, to see them some kind of disruption with the time, the TVA. I don't know. It's like I get very annoyed at time travel too. So that whole part of it to me is just like whatever. As long as you're giving me good characters, and we don't mess up that Steve Rogers is still Captain America or something like that. Let's just have some fun with it, and I'm just having fun with it. So keep it fun, keep it funny. This has also been, I think, the funniest show of the 3. Not that the others didn't have any humor, but I'm really laughed out loud a couple of times in this episode, and I want to keep, and that's without Owen Wilson being in the episode at all, right? And he is super funny too. So I would like to see maybe him and the 2 Lokis get together, have all 3 of them be together for a while, see where that goes. But I just give me more of what's going on. I have a hard time believing they're going to blow this. So what about you, Sam?
Yeah, I think, and I want to see them kind of blow up the TVA in whatever shape or form that happens. It doesn't have to be, literal blowing up of the TVA. I want to see the people who work at the TVA, like Mobius, Owen Wilson's character, find out that they're variants and they're going to join the sort of revolt against the TVA. That's my prediction now that we know that they're variants. So I think that's It's going to be fun. I'm here for the ride, and I'll take it wherever it's going. I agree. I want to see Loki survive. He's got to survive the series. We've got to see more of it. I just agree also with Pete. I don't want them messing with the rest of my Marvel universe and changing things up on the other end. Kate, what are your predictions or hopes?
Okay. Well, first of all, and I forgot to say this earlier, but Owen Wilson, I know y'all are talking about Tom Hiddleston. He's so great, but Owen Wilson is my voice crush. Like his voice, anytime he talks, I just I want him to buy me a beer and call me sweetheart. Like that is what I want to just sit with him and talk about life and have him call me darling. Like that's it. So Owen Wilson, if I want anything from this show, I want more Owen Wilson. Not gonna lie to you. I would love to watch something like, in the part, I can't remember which episode it was in, when Loki was looking at the sheet of paper and it said like 9,000 people died, no one survived. I think it was when Asgard was destroyed, or Ragnarok was destroyed. And he had that moment of like almost like empathy or like sympathy, which you don't think from a villain, because he's sort of a villain. He is a villain, but anyway, I would like to see a redemption arc. And I know that this could be not a popular opinion, but I would like to see some kind of he realizes, oh snap, 32,000 people are about to die or something. Like, I have this choice to make this amazing thing, or I can save these people. Like, I would like to see a redemption arc.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's going to be a thing, but every time I watch this show, I don't know if we have any Doctor Who fans out there. I know that's not Disney Plus, but all I want to say is like wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Like that's the only way I can describe me trying to understand the time thing. And listen, I know y'all are like, this is number one, WandaVision, until something else comes along that usurps it. And yes, I did use the word usurp. WandaVision is still my number one. I think WandaVision was so brilliant. So, yeah, I would like to see a redemption arc. Of course, I want more Tom Hiddleston. Give me more Owen Wilson, even if it's just him reading me the phone book. I don't care. Because his voice is so soothing. But that's me.
I think that the only way for this Tom Hiddleston Loki to continue is if the TVA is demolished. Because if they have this grand master plan of like, you're going to help us capture this person, but you're still going to die in Infinity War, like that still has to happen. So the only way for, this Loki to live in a different timeline and it still be okay is if the TVA, has demolished. And Kate, I was going to comment on something that you said. I forgot it. I'm sorry.
Owen Wilson.
So this is a question, and there's no spoilers around this because I have not seen or read anything beyond the 3 episodes. Part of me thinks, are we going to see like another Loki already running the TVA or something like that? Because like we got 2 Lokis. Why are there necessarily only 2, or could we see a third one?
I don't even remember what TVA stands for, so I'm going to refrain from comment on that answer.
Time Variant Authority. Yeah,
Time Variant Authority.
So what I was going to say
go ahead. No, go ahead, Rebecca.
No, I was going to say, what I was going to say to Kate is, she's talking about this redemption arc. I think that the main turning point is going to be Loki saving one of these catastrophes, because the Sylvie Loki lives in all of these apocalypses where every single person is wiped out, regardless of what happens, these natural causes. I think his redemption arc is going to be as they're bouncing, between these apocalypses where, they can be themselves, is that he's going to, or together, maybe they'll save all the people from this natural disaster. So that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I like that. I hope it happens in the future, past where we've seen the Marvel universe rather than in the past, because I don't want to screw up. Like I said, I don't want to screw up the regular Marvel universe timeline that we've already seen. We've got some good comments about Owen Wilson here. Owen Wilson needs more screen time. That's what they need to do moving forward. Thanks, Ryan. And Willie says Owen is in my top 3 favorite actors. Wedding Crashers is the best comedy of all time, possibly best movie. It is a great movie. Have you seen The Internship? Because that is also a great movie where he and Vince Vaughn are interns at Google. It's hilarious. Love it. And then Ed has a comment that he wants to hear a Loki say, "Oh, snap."
Ed, you have not let me know what you think about the Benedict Society. So, Ed, remember, I want to know your thoughts on that. But
Yeah.
Sam, what's coming next week?
Yeah, so we've got some interesting stuff that we're going to cover next week. Next week, we are coming to you back from the vault. We are bringing back The Sandlot. It is coming to Disney Plus on July
killing me,
2nd. I know, I'm killing you. I am eradicating you, small one. You're killing me, Smalls. So anyway, we are bringing that from the vault because it's coming back to Disney Plus on July 2nd. So we'll be talking about that next Wednesday. We are also going to be talking about Loki episode 4 next week, which just came out today. So if you haven't watched it yet, no worries. Just watch it before next Wednesday because we will be talking spoilers. And then a couple of other updates we need to tell you. We will not be having a show on July 14th. So we will have a show on July 7th, which is the show I'm talking about, The Sandlot and Loki. But we will be taking a break on July 14th. And after that, we are moving our show to Tuesday nights. So starting on July 20th, we will be on Tuesday nights instead of Wednesday nights. And that's really, we want to align better with the Disney Plus releases because now Disney Plus is releasing all the shows on Wednesdays and movies mostly on Fridays, as we talked about earlier in our Disney Plus news. So we don't want to be too far, or we don't want to be confusing you with coming out on Wednesday and shows coming out on Wednesday. So thank you, Ryan. Wednesdays will never be the same. And Ed's answering your
Tuesday just got better.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Tuesday just got better. And Ed is saying he hasn't watched the Mysterious Benedict Society, Kate. So that's why.
Ed, I'm gonna need you to watch that and let me know. Also, to the rest of the platooners, I challenge you to come dressed in your best baseball outfit. And
I love that
for
challenge.
all of you Walt Disney World fans out there, Casey's Corner opened up today.
Yep.
It was their homecoming today. So welcome back, Casey's Corner, to Walt Disney World in the spirit of baseball with Sandlot.
Perfect. Just in time for the Sandlot next week. All right. I will challenge accepted.
One last comment. That first Tuesday episode, all 6 episodes of Loki will have been released. The last episode's on July 14th. So on July 20th, we will be talking Loki finale. So
yes, that's right. And maybe we can do a little Mysterious Benedict Society on the 20th as well.
Can we dress as our best Loki?
I'm
dressed as Loki already.
Yeah, right.
But like
We're all
Loki.
We're all
Now
Loki.
hang on, because Kate understands this part. I can come dressed as myself because in some timeline, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, Loki became me. Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you,
also
Kate.
can shapeshift. So
Right.
practically, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for explaining all that, Kate. That's really helpful. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching tonight. We are the Plus Platoon podcast, a Disney Plus fan podcast. If you are not subscribed to us on YouTube and aren't following us on Facebook, stop right there and go do that. Hit like, subscribe, go to facebook.com/plusplatoon, go to youtube.com/plusplatoon. We are Plus the Platoon at Twitter, Instagram, all of those things at the bottom of your screen. If you don't want to miss great content, please visit us there. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Plus Platoon. Be sure to subscribe to the Plus Platoon podcast to keep getting great content each week. Then head over to Apple Podcast and leave those 5-star reviews as they help make the Plus Platoon visible to even more Disney Plus fans. Also, go to YouTube and like and subscribe to the Plus Platoon channel, where you can watch all future episodes live. If you have a question for the Plus Platoon, please send us an email to plusplatoon@gmail.com or connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram @plusplatoon.
The Plus Platoon is a Disney Plus fan podcast. Is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or the Disney Plus streaming service. All opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the individual hosts and in no way reflect the views of the Walt Disney Company.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode because the Plus Platoon is to be continued.